Good afternoon, everybody. This is Breakout Bag Lunch, and today we are looking at more drawdown. This is not how I wanted the day to go, of course. However, there's only so much you can do in the markets. I can admit that I made some mistakes as well, which we will review in today's trade recap. I have been working on a method to identify supply and demand. So I was doing some supply and demand trading along with opening range breakout, and I feel like the supply and demand worked pretty well. I'm going to continue using it in my trading. And the problem was a few trades caused me to be in the red for the day. We'll go over those and we'll do some reflection. We're going to start with MES because that's what's on the screen, and we'll look at the 1 minute chart. Okay, we did have a breakout of the 5 minute opening range to the downside, as you can see here. My thought was that I was going to do a quick scalp for 10 a.m. I thought there was news coming out at 10 a.m. It turns out that big news, the job openings, is tomorrow at 10 a.m. And so I got stopped out. Looking back, I definitely should have held on to that trade, because there was a lot of downside. You had a break and a retest. The other problem though was that I would say the downside momentum wasn't too strong until later on in the day, after 10. I definitely should have just stuck to the short trade. That would have been pretty profitable. And the second trade is one that I took from demand zone in this area. I thought, well, we have this hammer candle, we might be looking at a reversal. That was not the case, and we continued downward, and because of that, that was another losing trade. I think I definitely have to incorporate some sort of moving average in my trading. I do have the 25 EMA here. I mentioned this in other videos. What I think I'm going to do is just look at the direction and the placement of the 25 EMA before taking any trades. In this case, 25 EMA was downward and price was below it. And because of it, it wasn't a good idea to take a bullish trade. The other trade I made, though, was different. This one was done during power hour after 3 p.m. I don't have it drawn here. I have the supply and demand zones drawn in swim, but we had a demand zone right around here, and I noticed we had some bullish price action, a bullish reaction from that demand zone, and so I decided to take long entries here. I didn't look at the 25 EMA, even though I should have, but notice the difference. And the previous bullish trade that I took, the 25 EMA was sloping downward and price was well below it, like I mentioned. But here we have the 25 EMA very close to price, and notice how it's flattening out. This meant that there was a higher chance for a bullish continuation in price. And so I placed my take profit limit order here, and this is at the low of the previous demand zone that I had drawn. A stop loss was down here. I did almost get stopped out again. I think I could have waited a little bit longer to take this trade. However, I'm not mad that it turned me a profit. So those are all the trades on MES. In terms of gold, we had a huge move to the downside. Well, not huge for gold, I guess, but a move to the downside nonetheless. It went down to this 4207 level. This is a demand zone that I had drawn. Once I saw we had a bullish reaction to this demand zone, I went long. I was a bit early and I got stopped out here. I tried again here, and my take profit was at the 4224 level, which is the bottom of another demand zone, and so that trade ended up being profitable. What happened, I think it's the second time I tried to long gold, is I got very close to my take profit area, and then we just had this big retracement. I sold originally at a small profit, but this trade that I took here was much more profitable. Those were all the trades for today. As you can see, I probably took more trades than I needed to. And you can see that we are in a drawdown. What I'm going to do for this week and next week, depending on how things go, is just lower my position sizing. If you've noticed, I have reduced my sizing from 4 micro contracts to 2 micro contracts. Once I get back to 50,600, then I'll increase the contract size to 3. If I get to 1,000, then I'll probably increase it back to 4. But for now, because I'm in drawdown, I want to make sure that I'm limiting my risk. I also don't want to blow the account, because if the balance gets below $49,303.94, then I fail the combine. A big part of trading is managing risk, and it's normal to have periods where you lose money. It's all about how you react to these times, what you do when you lose. That makes the difference between someone who is successful and profitable and someone who just loses all their money. I'm hoping tomorrow is better though, and there should be a lot of big interesting moves happening in the market on Wednesday because of FOMC. So fingers crossed, guys. Alright, if you have any comments, let me know. And if you found this video useful or interesting, then make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Alright, thanks everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.